Okay, so now let's move to quadratic equations. Quadratic equations. We want to know what quadratic equations are. So what are they? When you take a quadratic expression and you equate it to any number, right? Right, maybe even 0, right? This becomes an equation, right? So an equation is a statement that says something is equal to something else, right? That's an equation. So when you have an equal sign involved, right, it's now an equation. And when you have an equation, you must solve the equation, right? You must solve the equation. So we're going to start off with the late stage, right? Let's say you factorized a quadratic expression, and then you have these two brackets, right? This is the result of factorization. And let's say this is equal to 0. If we want to solve this, how do we solve it, right? The simple way of doing it is we must equate each bracket, right, to 0, right? So we must say this x minus 2 is equal to 0. Or the second thing, x plus 4 is equal to 0, right? And then we can solve this. Take minus 2, that side becomes a positive 2. We get x is equal to 2. And then we solve that. Take 4, that side becomes minus 4. We get x is equal to minus 4. So this is the solution for the quadratic equation. It has more than one solution, right? So it's got two solutions. In some cases, you can call these solutions roots, right? So x is equal to 2 or x is equal to minus 4. If we have a situation like this, we do something similar, right? We take this first term here, which is x equated to 0, and then we take what's in the brackets as well, x minus 3, and equate to 0. So x is equal to 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. X is equal to 0 cannot be simplified further. We leave it there. And then x minus 3 is equal to 0. I can take minus 3, that side becomes a positive 3. So x is equal to 3. So these are my two solutions for this quadratic equation, right? I can have x squared times x plus 4 squared is equal to 0, right? So when you have x squared, it simply means there are two x's multiplying each other. If you have x plus 4 squared, it means there are two brackets which have x plus 4 that are multiplying each other, right? So if we were to expand this, this would be x times x plus 4 times x plus 4, and this is equal to 0. So what do we see? X is going to appear twice, 2 times. And then x plus 4, the bracket is also appearing twice, right? Because of the squared. Now let's remove that. Since these things appear twice, you solve them once and you write twice, right? So for example, I'll write x is equal to 0. This is x is equal to 0. Then I'll write twice, right? It's going to happen 2 times. Or I can take this part here, x plus 4 is equal to 0 twice as well. So x is equal to minus 4 when I solve it twice. So that's how I can write it, right? So there are two scenarios where x is 0, and there are two scenarios where x is equal to minus 4. Okay, now we have 2d minus 5 times 3d plus 1 is equal to 0. Again, we play by the same rules. Take the first bracket equated to 0. So 2d minus 5 is equal to 0. Or take the second bracket equated to 0. 3d plus 1 is equal to 0. So 2d is equal to 5. Divide both sides by 2, right? I'll get d is equal to 5 over 2. Or you can say d is equal to 2.5. 3d plus 1 is equal to 0. Take 1 that side, it becomes a minus 1. So 3d is equal to minus 1. Divide both sides by 3. d is equal to minus 1/3. So that's where we stop there. So that's the simple way of solving these equations when they're at bracket stage. In the next video, we'll go further up and start right from the top.